everyone, my name is Amanda Hilliker, also known as the Visionary here at Building Characters. Now why am I a visionary, you may ask? Well, I like being creative. I like writing, film, arts and crafts, anything. But I also like being organized. And thus, a visionary was born. Besides that, I also like playing tabletop role-playing games, the most famous being Dungeons & Dragons. Maybe you've heard of it. My favorite class is probably the Bard. They're the storytellers, and they also really like music, which I am a fan of myself. Now that you know just a little bit more about me, let's get into what this video is actually about. Here at Building Characters, we're going to be discussing all things Star Wars this month. And I gotta be honest, not much of a fan. Don't get me wrong, I can appreciate the films, but I only watched the original trilogy and I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't watch the films until I was in college, and the first film was released in like 1977. I was born way after that, so all of the spoilers and twists and everything were just kind of common knowledge. And by the way, spoilers ahead for anyone who hasn't watched the original trilogy. I already knew that Vader was Luke's father and that Luke and Princess Leia were brother and sister, and that Han Solo gets unfrozen, and even how the Death Star blows up. This didn't completely ruin the films for me, but I definitely was watching more for the characters rather than the plot because I already knew how the plot ended. And the characters are a bit dated, at least to me. I actually like Princess Leia. She had spunk and attitude, and she was a leader, but she had a vulnerable side. She definitely wasn't what I was expecting, and she was probably the most well-rounded out of the group. Luke and Han Solo, they just didn't seem as well-rounded to me. Luke is very much the everyman, which happens when you're the main character and you have to be relatable to the audience, so I can understand that. Han Solo, he's based off of a lot of Western films. He's the ruffian with the heart of gold. Then you've got your mentors, Yoda and Obi-Wan, and you've got Vader, the villain, with a complicated dark past, and the characters just seemed a little bit general to me. And I can understand that at its time it probably seemed different and new, and that's fine. But I think the biggest problem was time. The biggest debate that I hear between Star Trek and Star Wars is that Star Trek and other sci-fi shows like it, they have way more time to develop their characters. They get each episode and potentially years to do it, whereas Star Wars is a film. They have to sometimes take away from character development in order to move the plot from point A to point B. And sometimes I think because of that, the Star Wars characters are a bit lacking. And to be honest, I don't know if it was the characters, the plot, or what, but I just couldn't really get into those films. And I know later they made the newer films for my generation, episodes 1, 2, and 3, but I heard so many bad things about them that I never watched them. And to be honest, after I watched the original trilogy, I was kind of disappointed. I never gave any other Star Wars films a chance. I didn't go see episode 7 when it came out, or Rogue One, and I hear that the newer ones are better, but I just haven't watched one since. But I think that might be just a little bit unfair. So I'm gonna go see the newest Star Wars episode, episode 8, The Last Jedi. And I'm gonna try and give this franchise a fair second chance. And I know I'm gonna be completely lost at some parts because I'm not gonna know what happened in the other films, but I'm gonna keep that in mind. And for my next video, I'm gonna do an honest, outsider perspective review of the newest Star Wars film. Wish me luck. And if you're like me and you don't really like Star Wars, tell us why in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, or you just really like film or sketches, you can subscribe and see more. My name is Amanda Hilliker, and I'll see you next time.